Bashem Yahushua. All praises, glory, honor to Yahweh. In the name of his son, Yahushua. Yahweh, who the world knows as God, title, according to the Paleo Hebrew. In the name of his son, Yahushua, the Savior, the Lord of Israel, the anointed, the Messiah. All glory and honor to Yahweh. In the name of his son, Yahushua. Call Allah Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. All glory and honor to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. For another day in the land of living, another day in his truth, knowing our nationality, our heritage, laws, statutes, commandments that he bestowed upon the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Fisherman for Zion, coming back with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Don't count this as a light thing to do. Peace and blessings to you. I believe I titled this Suffering Now, Reigning Later, through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The fashion of this wicked world will pass away, suffering now, reigning later. We're going to open up with a quick precept through the spirit. This is Psalm chapter 121. It's like it's Psalms 122, and it reads, Psalms 122, peace and blessings to you on this day that the Lord has made. You got to rejoice and be glad through the spirit, the power of Yahweh Shah. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 122, starting at verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. So we got to be glad, regardless of how early it is, regardless of how tired we are, regardless, you know, if it's raining, if it's cloudy, if the sun's not out, through the spirit, we got to be glad. We got to continue to strive and endure in these last days to continue to uphold the name of the Lord, to continue to uphold our faith, to continue to uphold all the works that the Lord has commanded us to do, the law, statutes, commandments, striving. So we got to continue to be glad. So nevertheless, we're going to so nevertheless, the fashion of this wicked world will pass away. You know, you might be suffering, you know, but hey, that's a good thing. You know, suffering for righteousness. Now, it's a difference between suffering for righteousness and a difference between suffering for wickedness. But nevertheless, suffering for righteousness, you know, that's you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to prepare us for things that are coming on the earth, because it's times that are coming that we haven't seen and that we're not living in right now, that is going to try every man, every woman, every child, you know, flesh and blood. And you know, there's a kingdom coming. So, you know, we have to have our minds on things that are going to be, you know, literally set up for the nation of Israel. So I'm going to kick this off with 1 Peter chapter 1. And I want to start at verse 3. 1 Peter chapter 1, I'm going to start at verse 3, and it reads, Blessed be the God most high and Father of our Lord, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach from the dead. So blessed be the Most High God for all the things that he's done and all the things that he's going to do. Verse 4, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that faded not away, reserved in heaven for you. So the nation of Israel has an inheritance reserved and waiting for them. Things that's not going to be corrupted, you know, because your money can be corrupted in this land. You know, your wealth and your riches can be corrupted, but the inheritance that the Lord has bestowed upon Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the descendants of Jacob, is going to be incorruptible. It's not going to be able to be defiled. It's not going to be able to be taken away from you. Things that the Lord has promised to our forefathers is literally waiting for us. The Lord has literally set it aside, and you know, you may not be able to think about such things and see it how it's supposed to be viewed. You know, you may be going through hard times, you may be going through a lot, you may be dealing with the stress, you may be dealing with turmoil, you may be dealing with pains in your body, but you have to remember and realize that the Lord has set things aside for you that nobody can take away, that nobody can kind of take taxes out of. You know, it ain't no getting 10% out of this, it ain't no getting 30% out of this. You know, it's way beyond a paycheck. It's way beyond, a check that you have in the cash, and then you gotta try to get you a account so you can be able to cash this check. And if you don't have an account, the Lord isn't like that. The Lord has things set up for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that no man can take away. So let me read this one more time. This 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 4, to an inheritance. So each and everybody has an inheritance, you know. Now I want to get a quick precept in Sirach chapter 17 real quick. Each and everybody has an inheritance, mainly specifically Yasharala, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now this is Sirach chapter 17 and verse 11 in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 17 and verse 11, and it reads, beside this he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. He made an everlasting covenant with them and shewed them his judgments. So through the spirit and the power of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we have knowledge, we have wisdom, we have understanding, and we have a heritage with the Most High God. We had things set up and given to us, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of Jacob. We had things given to us, you know, and things that literally will help us, you know, and even things that we will be doing in the kingdom of heaven. So we got to continue to have this on our minds. So let me read this again. 1 Peter 1 and 4, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that faded not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of Most High God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. So we want things to be revealed, you know, whether we're living or whether, you know, we come up out of the grave, if it's of the Lord's will, you know, we want to have that thing revealed to us, you know. And there's so many things that's going to be revealed to us, you know, spiritual bodies, you know, seeing the Lord, you know, being able to get the kingdom according to the hope for the elect and those that the Lord set up. So these are things that we have to have on our spirit and on our minds as we, you know, draw closer to the last, you know, the last trump, you know. Now, like I said, the fashion of this wicked world. Now, the fashion of this world will pass away, but I want to get this in 1 Corinthians real quick. Now, that's a lot of things that's taking place in this world. You got these political leaders, you know, raising money to you know, be able to host certain rallies and to be able to travel and to promote all type of things that they say they're going to do. You know, you have these political leaders that want to instill hope and thinking that things is going to get better, you know. But hey, a lot of this stuff is going to pass away. All of this stuff that we seeing and hearing, it's going to pass away, you know. Living paycheck to paycheck, that's going to pass away. You know, you trying to get your oil changed in your car breaking down, you having to get tires, hurricane season, trying to get a generator, you know, trying to figure out if you can be able to afford to get your roof fixed after your roof done got blown away, you know, having to get school clothes, having to spend all type of money trying to get school supplies for your children during the season of going back to school, when they gonna teach them folly and manners in these institutions, in these schools. All of this stuff is gonna pass away, you know. Trying to get high expensive clothes and cars, paying mortgages, paying car notes, all of this stuff is gonna pass away, you know. And the kingdom of heaven is coming, you know. Whether we talk to people that say they believe in it, whether people say they don't believe in it, the kingdom of the Most High God is on the way, you know. So you can, you know, put away the wickedness and try to live a better life and hope and wait for the Lord, or you just gonna be, you know, engulfed in everything that this world is doing. And everything that this world is doing, you know, according to the wickedness, they not thinking about that. They not thinking about the kingdom of heaven. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 31. 1 Corinthians 7 and 31, and it reads, and they that use this world as not abusing it. So you don't want to abuse this world, regardless of what type of status you have, or regardless of You know, where you rank yourself at, or where this world tries to rank you at, or whatever this world classify you as. Now, Apostle Paul, like he's speaking, like he's getting into, you know, he's letting us know. He's giving us the exhortation, you know, according to the Church of Corinth, you know, and those that went away and having to be brought back to the Lord. You know, he's telling us to not abuse such things. You know, now you got many men and women and households that is abusing this world. You know, now I want to get this precept real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 18. 1 Corinthians 9 and 18, and it reads, "What is my reward then? Verily, that when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Christ without charge, that I make, so like that I abuse not my power in the gospel." So we have to have that same mind, not to abuse our power. You know, whether you may be in the truth, you know, whether you may be under somebody, whether you may be over somebody, you know, whether you may be teaching the word, or whether you may be learning to be able to teach the word. You know, Apostle Paul gave us the whole 9 yards and everything we need to know, and 100 yards more. You know, not to abuse such things. And abusing this world can have many fashions and outlooks on this modern day understanding. You know, many people, they abuse the world by stealing. You know, they'll try to say, well, you know, they stole us, so we should be able to steal. You know, you can't have that mindset. You know, because that's going against the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You know, or you trying to murder somebody because one of your family members got murdered. You know, when we got to wait on the Lord to be able to repay us and give us everything that we, you know, ought to have and need, basically in the need of. So everything that the Lord is going to reward us with, we got to wait on that, and not to seek vengeance and things out of our own hands. Now, I also wanted to get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 33, and it reads, 1 Corinthians 10 and 33, "Even as I please all men," it's like it, 1 Corinthians 10 and 33, "even as I please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved." So Apostle Paul was basically saying he wasn't trying to please other men like other apostles used to try to make a name for themselves. You know, he put the work in. He was traveling. He was teaching, getting shipwrecked. You know, brought up to councils, getting persecuted. But he was doing it to save people's lives. He actually cared for people. You know, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites, as he himself said in Romans 11 and 1. You know, him being a Benjamite. You know, being an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, even when you get to Romans chapter 10 and verse 1, his heart and his desire was that all Israel should be saved. You know, but a lot of people, they want to abuse such things. They want to do things to the extent that they feel like they should get this, or they feel like they should be rewarded this, or this is owed to them. You know, the Lord is going to give the increase. He's going to reward. You know, but now we have to be able to put that work in and have the righteousness on our mind according to things that we should be thinking about. Now I want to get this in Jude right quick. This is Jude verse. I want to get this in Jude. This is Jude. I'm gonna start at verse 21. Jude verse 21. "Keep yourselves in the love of Most High God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach unto eternal life." So we have to keep ourselves, you know, in this path, you know, in this path of hope, this path of faith, this path of, you know, thinking about heavenly things. Because if you don't meditate on things that's above, you know, if you're not seeking the kingdom of the Most High God, you know, you will be drowned in a lot of things that this world wants you to be thinking about and promoting. You know, if you get your mind off the word and the Most High God and the spiritual things that you have laid up for you, you know, because you know, you have so many good things laid up for you when you put away wickedness and put away evilness. So we got to look at this and say, you know, we got to continue to press forward and continue to look for things that's coming, you know, because things of this world is wicked, you know. So reading this one more time, Jude verse 21, keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach unto eternal life. And some have compassion, making a difference. So Paul, he was trying to make a difference, you know, and that's what he did. That's what he stretched his hand forth to do. And some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. So he can keep us from falling, you know, and he has that ability. The Most High God literally has that ability to continue to uphold us, you know, and more so to the hopeful elect. Now I want to go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 31, and it reads, and they that you 1 Corinthians 7 and 31, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Now many things of this life is going to pass away. You might have a mom or dad or brother or sister or aunt or cousin slugger that may pass away, you know, and also you gonna get older, you know. Many things is gonna pass away in this life, you know. So all of the clubbing and, you know, the drug, indulging in the drugs, all of that stuff is gonna pass away. So a lot of people looking at that, and it seems like, you know, they may have a mindset saying, well, you know, turning back to the Lord is gonna be kind of boring and missing out on such things. No, you can't have that mindset, and neither can you let that wicked spirit, that spiritual demon Satan, try to tempt you in thinking that this is gonna be a boring walk. You know, you not clubbing, you not doing drugs, you not smoking, you not drinking, you know, a whole lot. You know, you not being able to go here and there. You can't have that mindset. You know, you have to have the mindset on, I'm storing up riches in the kingdom of heaven. You know, I'm isolating myself from the wickedness and the wicked principalities that may be in such places that I don't see. You know, so reading this again, 1 Corinthians 7 and 31. For the fashion of this world passeth away. So I want to get another precept in Psalms. This is the book of Psalms real quick. Psalms chapter 39, and I'm gonna start at Psalms 39. And I'm gonna start at verse 6. And it reads, Psalms 39 and 6. Surely every man walketh in a vain shoe. So King David, through the Spirit, said every man walking in a vain shoe. So you may not be aware of such things that may go on tomorrow, you know. This is why you can't get so caught up in, you know, how bad your day is or how good your day may be, you know. So reading this again, Psalms 39 and 6. Surely every man walketh in a vain shoe. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches and knoweth not who shall gather them. So you cannot have the mindset of walking in vanity, you know. You can't just be doing things that it may kind of seem like it's making sense to you, but you really don't know if it's making sense to you. You can't be walking in things that's literally not going to profit you nothing, you know. Going to the casino, that's not going to profit you anything. You don't know if you're going to win or not, you know. Going to, you know, another man's house to meet up with a woman, that's not going to profit you anything. That's walking in vanity, you know. You're not really sure about how things going to go, you know. That's why we want to walk according to things that we can be more assured of and more assured about, you know. Walking in the law, statutes, commandments, walking in faith, having hope, hoping in things that's going to be able to help us, you know. If we see the day, you know, 12 o'clock today or 3 o'clock today, or if we don't make it to tomorrow, you know. You can't be walking in vain, you know. And more so, We got to have that mindset saying, my hope is in the Lord. My hope is in the Lord. You know, my hope is not in money. My hope is not in getting a bigger house. You know, if the Lord bless me with a bigger house, the Lord bless me with a bigger house. This is what you have to say. You have to have this mindset. My hope is in the Lord. You know, if the Lord want me to get a better job, hey, my hope is in the Lord. You know, but we can't be walking in vanity. Now let me get this in. We're gonna come back to this. I want to get a quick precept in First Thessalonians. First Thessalonians chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 5, and it reads, "For our gospel came not unto you in word only," and we know gospel is good tidings. It's good news. You know. So it says, First Thessalonians 1 and 5, "For our gospel came not unto you in word only, but also in power and in the Holy Spirit and in much assurance." You know, so you got to have that self-confidence. You got to have that positivity, you know, and you got to make sure you keep that negativity away, because there's a kingdom coming that is literally laid up for the hope, for the laid up for the Israelites, you know, that no man can destroy, no man can stop it from coming, no man can kind of take away from it. You know, the kingdom of heaven is coming, so that should be something that we should be looking forward to, and you know, rejoicing in every day. You know, building towards that, repenting. You know, putting away evilness, putting away lasciviousness, debauchery, sins in your mind, wicked pleasures. You know, things that's not gonna profit you in the end. You know, because that temporary mindset, having that temporary mindset, really ain't gonna get you nowhere. You're only doing this for now. You know, I'm only doing this to make myself feel good. You know, just like a masturbate. You know, you gotta cut that spirit off. You gotta cut that demon off. You know, lusting after other people. You know, that you're not even gonna have no type of relationship with. You know, a one night stand. You know, trying to drink your pain away, trying to smoke your pain away, trying to pop pills, trying to pop the pain away. You know, all that temporary stuff isn't going to benefit you. It's going to hurt you. So you have to have the mindset on having that positivity and reassurance of what's to come. You know, because just like you clock in at work, you know, and you put them hours in, you looking for that paycheck. You looking forward to that payday. You know, but what if the Lord said, you keep putting hours in for wickedness? You know, it's gonna come a day that you gonna have to pay for that judgment. You know, and that pay for that judgment is gonna be harsh. You know. So reading this again, First Thessalonians 1 and 5, "For our gospel came not unto you in word only, but also in power, in the Holy Spirit, and in much assurance, as ye know what manner of men we were among you for your sake. And ye became followers of us." So you have to be followers of righteousness, you know, just like the apostles laid before us, just like the Lord laid before us, just like our kings and our righteous judges laid before us, you know. So let's go back to Psalms 39, through the Spirit, Psalm 39. Psalm 39 and verse 6. So we can't be walking in vanity. We can't be walking in folly and madness. We have to be walking in righteousness, because our hope is in the Lord. You got to literally say that, my hope is in the Lord. So reading this again, "Surely every man walketh in a vain shoe. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches and knoweth not who shall gather them." So you can be heaping up riches, you know, and don't even know if it's gonna, you know, be there for you when you're waiting on it. You know, like somebody, I can't remember what his name was, but there was this man that said, you know, he had some money. I forgot where I seen this at, but it was like a couple of days ago. He had some money, and it was for his daughter, and he didn't even make it to the city that he was trying to get to. He was trying to get to his daughter, so he can give her some money, and then before he even made it to the nearest state, he got robbed. You know, so he had all that money, and he messed around and got robbed, you know, and so he didn't have anything to get to his daughter. So you can't be working so hard to the point where you're not putting much more effort in for the kingdom of heaven, because what you're working hard for, that's only temporary. You know, you don't want to be sadly mistaken when you get cut short, you know, because the Lord can cut you short if you're not putting things in according to, you know, how he see fit, according to his righteousness. Let me get this in Matthew real quick. This is what we should be thinking about and doing. Let me get this classic verse real quick, which everybody should know. Now this is Matthew chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 33. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33, and it reads, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God Most High, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." So you want to seek the righteousness of the Most High God, you know, because it has to be that way. Because if you're looking for, you know, things of this world, according to, as you striving for, you know, the righteousness of the Lord, like if you was a man that was desiring a righteous woman, the Lord, you know, he gonna allow things to be lined up because you got your mind stayed on the Lord. Or if you was a woman desiring a righteous man, the Lord gonna make sure things is lined up, because you're not cutting corners. You know, you taking your time, you making sure, you know, it goes according to the order that the Lord has put on your spirit, and you're not rushing things, you know. Just like if somebody was trying to rush to get money and they go rob a bank, or they go rob somebody and try to steal something, that ain't gonna go right. That money came through vanity, you know. So anything that comes through vanity and wickedness and worthlessness, you know, it's not really gonna be good for you, and it's literally not gonna stay according to the longevity that it should, you know. So I'm gonna get another precept. I'm gonna get this in James. It's the book of James chapter 1. James chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 10, and it reads, "But the rich, in that he is made low." Now a lot of people that are rich, not necessarily everybody, you know, because the Lord did have rich people, you know, during the kings, King David, King Solomon, you know. We know Massa Musa was rich, you know, but it's a lot of people now that's rich that the Lord is gonna bring low, you know, because they really not they don't have their mind, and they not set forth their effort to do according to what they have, and the power and all of their might, you know. It's either some greediness, you know, or some vanity according to those riches. So that's why the Lord said this, James chapter 1 and verse 10, and it reads, "But the rich, in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away." It says, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away. Now, you know, a lot of things, a lot of times, you know, those that are rich, they got their money. Not everybody now. They got their money by some wickedness, you know. But, you know, some they may have put in the hard work, but hey, they might have sold out too. You know, it might have came with some idolatry. It might have came with selling their soul. It might have came with breaking all the commandments of the Lord, you know. So like the Lord said, they're gonna be made low. Now let me get this in Job real quick. This is the book of Job chapter 14, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. Job chapter 14 and verse 1, and it reads, "Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble." So it's gonna be trouble when you come into the world of sin, you know. Even when you first came into the truth, you know, you was finding out, man, I didn't know that was a sin. I didn't know that was off. I didn't know that was wicked, you know. So a man that is born of a woman is full of trouble. Verse 2, Job 14 and 2, and it reads, "He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fled also as a shadow and continued not." So it's going to be a time to be cut off, and it's going to be a time for other things to come about. you know. So just like this wicked kingdom, you know, just like Babylon the Great and all of the folly and madness that goes along in this world, you know, this a lot of this stuff is gonna be cut down, you know. It's gonna be cut down. And the kingdom of heaven is literally coming. Now I want to get this in First Peter. This is First Peter chapter 4 and verse 7, and it reads, First Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So the end of all things, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, you know, putting gas in your car. The end of all things is at hand. You know, pains in your body. You know, when you think of the end times, when you think of things that's gonna, you know, be cut off, you can't just always think about, you know, scary or this sounds horrifying. You got to look at things like, okay, the Lord's kingdom is coming, you know, rulership is coming, you know, not suffering anymore is coming, you know, not knowing if you're going to be able to have enough money when you go to the grocery store, not knowing if you're going to have to put food back or not, you know, not knowing if you're going to be alive or not. The end literally is right here. You know, so you have to be able to have that spirit in mind to be able to rejoice and look at these spiritual words that's going to be able to help you in these times now and days to come. So reading this again, 1 Peter 4:7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So you have to have the spirit of being sober, having control of your spirit, having control to fight, you know, to fight wicked thoughts, you know. Now I want to get a precept real quick. Let me get this in Wisdom of Solomon. This is Wisdom of Solomon, and I'm gonna start at chapter 9. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 11, and it reads, in the Apocryphal, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 and verse 11. For she knoweth and understandeth all things. This is talking about wisdom. And she shall lead me soberly in my doings and preserve me in her power. So this is what wisdom is going to do. You know, it's going to help you keep control of things. You know, you might have had anger issues, or you might have found yourself always, you know, raging and dealing with wrath. But wisdom, you know, helps you, you know, be able to put all of that to cease, put all that in the, you know, in the dirt. You know, you might have had troubles, you know, trying to deal with some of your loved ones. You couldn't really connect with them. You couldn't really talk with them. You know, you always, you know, wanted to stay away from people, or you may never have been able to deal with a friendship or any type of relationship. And wisdom literally helps you with that. Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 11. For she knoweth and understandeth all things, and she shall lead me soberly in my doings. So a lot of your doings may have, before you have got built up, and before you know, get to that position where you start to better yourself, you know, a lot of your doings may have been wicked. A lot of your doings may have caused marriages, you know, to not really prolong. You know, might have brought some type of, you know, pain, might have brought some type of grudges and envyings, you know. But wisdom literally can help you, you know, get things straightened up on the right path. And she shall lead me soberly in my doings and preserve me in her power. So shall my works be acceptable, and then shall I judge thy people righteously and be worthy to sit in my father's seat. You know, and King Solomon, he asked for wisdom, you know. And so what's something that can help you now that is not, you know, being in vanity or being vain or being worthless? You know, you asking the Lord for wisdom. You know, you asking the Lord to increase you in your mind and to increase you, to be able to love better, to be able to, be respectful towards others. This is what wisdom can do. The same way it helped Solomon be able to sit, in a judge's seat. Verse 13, Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 13. For what man is he that can know the counsel of Most High God, or who can think what the will of the Lord is? For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. So we definitely got to have the Lord's wisdom, because we deal with a lot of things that, we can't just continue to do without the Lord, even today, later on today, you're gonna need the Lord. You're gonna have to look towards the Lord, Now I want to get another precept. This is First John. This is First John chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 17, and it reads, First John 2 and 17. I'm gonna start at verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. So loving the world, this is not saying not loving your life. It's talking about loving these things that this world basically, thrives in. Wickedness, same-sex marriages, not keeping the commandments of the Lord. First John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So we got to make sure that what we doing is bringing forth things that's pleasing in the sight of the Lord. Verse 17. First John 2 and 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. So a lot of these things that people really hold on to, which a lot of people that really don't want to say it, they want to hold on to wickedness. They don't want to serve the Lord. I remember it was a comedian, I forgot his name. Oh, Mike Epps. I remember one of his stand-ups, he said, even though he was joking, but a lot of times things that come out of your mouth, it's according to power of life and death. Now, I remember Mike Epps in one of his stand-ups, he said, he wanted to turn back to the Lord, but he looked up towards the heavens and he said, I got to get this money first. Started laughing. Which, a lot of people like that. They don't want to turn aside. They don't want to back. They don't want to have to put stuff on the back burner. They want to hold on to stuff. Just like the rich man, when you read Matthew the 19th chapter, starting at verse 16 on down. The rich man, the Lord told him, a lot of his stuff, he got to give it away. He got to give it to the rich, give it to the poor, and then he put his head down. A lot of people, they don't want to put stuff to the back burner when it comes to serving the Lord. Because when you serving the Lord, you gotta put your feelings and your emotions aside. You gotta put that wickedness aside. You gotta put all that worldly pleasure that you've been doing aside. And this is why a lot of people, they fall short, and they fall out of the Lord's truth. They stop keeping the commandments because they want to go back and get something that they used to have longer than they've known about this truth. Because you might have known about wickedness for 20 years, and then now you coming towards a life of rebuilding and literally cleansing yourself and trying to stay clean. So a lot of people, they kind of be scratching like a fiend, just kind of trying to go back into the world. This is why we have to have the mindset of the fashions and the lust of this world and the things of this world is going to pass away. Because if you're not thinking about things like this, you're gonna say, man, I got time. Ain't nothing really going on. Ain't nothing happening in the earth. Ain't no bombs dropping. Ain't no bodies dropping. Ain't no famine kicking off. Ain't no plagues kicking off. And if you thinking like that, you gonna go back, you know, and you gonna go to the spiritual demon Satan house. You know, you gonna go to the house of the harlots. You gonna go to the house of the wicked, you know, the wicked evildoers. You know, and next thing you know, you gonna fall back asleep. Now, you know, the wicked, those that's wicked, judgment is coming. You know, you have to have that mindset. It's coming. Now, let me get this in Isaiah real quick. And you have to have this mindset. Now, this is Isaiah chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse. Because a lot of people, they want to be around wickedness. They try to act like they not doing wickedness, but they around wickedness. You know, even you being around wickedness can get you jammed up. You know, hey, like for instance, you might be a man that want to hang around another woman. You know, and y'all might not be trying to make things right or work. Y'all might just be hanging around each other. If it's a hit out on somebody and you around that person, you gonna get hit. You gonna get hit. You know, if you around a bomb, you know, you can't just say, well, I'm not holding the bomb, I'm just around it. Hey, you gonna feel something. If you don't get your arm blown off, if you don't get your leg blown off, if you don't get your head blown off, you gonna feel something, you know. Just like a soldier on the battlefield. You might get scarred by something that you see, you know. So you can't look at nothing lightly and take anything lightly according to being around wickedness. Because you got to have a mindset and the spirit of hating evil and hating wickedness. Now, this is Isaiah chapter 5, and I want to start at verse 20. Isaiah 5 and 20, and it reads, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. So it says destruction. That's what it's saying when it say woe. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So you can't act like, hey, you can't just turn the eye, you know. You can't just turn the blind eye and say, man, well, hey, I hope they get it. You know, you got to isolate yourself. You got to get away from the wickedness and the folly and the madness, or it might rub off on you. You know, what you look like riding with a murderer or riding with you know, somebody that's just known for wanted. What if you was just riding with somebody and they was wanted? You know, wanted for murdering, wanted for drug trafficking. You know, you wouldn't stay in that car. Hey, you would get out. If you had your mind right, you would open the door, you might hop out. If you had your mind right, if you was in the right spirit. You won't say, hey, you know, at the next stop, at your next stop, drop me off. Hey, you would immediately get out. You know, like Psalms 119 and verse 56 on down. I made haste and I delayed not to keep the Lord's commandments. You know, because you don't know when the Lord gonna stop you, you know, or pull you over. If you was, you know, just sitting and riding along with sin and wickedness and folliness and lust and adultery, idolatry, you know, maliciousness, lasciviousness. You got to get out of that car. Now I want to get this in Habakkuk. Now this is Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 2, and it reads, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So a lot of things that you read, you gotta run, and, you know, and you gotta strive for righteousness. You can't say, well, I'm gonna come back, you know, kind of do more research on it and figure this thing out, you know, because a lot of people, they don't want to have to cut things off, man. You know, they don't want to have to cut their hand off. They don't want to have to pluck their eye out. Just like the Lord said, if it's offending you, cut it off and pluck your eye out. Not literal, not to a literal sense, but on a spiritual sense. So when you read certain things, you gotta run with it. Just like if the Lord showed you a vision, you kind of gotta be aware and take that into consideration. That this is probably a warning. This is probably the real deal. You can't just play with the Lord word. You can't play with the Lord, period. Neither should you play with your life. Back in chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Now, just like these prophets, they seen the Babylonian empire falling, and the Lord revealed such things to them. Now we know Babylon, around 539 BC, such things that the prophet saw, and the nation going into, captivity, and things having to be torn down, and the temple and the sanctuary having to be rebuilt. And then we went into a whole nother captivity. So a lot of these things that our forefathers saw, the Lord made it aware that it will come to pass, regardless of how long it's going to take. So like it now, Babylon the Great, according to prophecy, it's going to fall. It's going to be thrown down. Even though it kind of seems like it's not going to come now. At this second that we're speaking now, you can't look at things like, okay, it's back to normal schedule. Back to the normal programming. You got to stay on the edge of your seat. You got to stay ready. You can't just say, well, coach, take me out of the game. You don't need me now. Take me out of the game, coach. You kind of loosen up your laces, kind of taking your shoes off, and now you're putting your slides on, kind of putting your warm-up back on. You cannot take things lightly. The Lord literally, everybody's life ain't gonna be set out the same. It's just because the person beside you might have got away with some adultery, just because the person on your right might have got away with some murdering, just because the person behind you might have got away with some folly and madness, that don't mean you gonna get away with it. The Lord might come up to you tonight. The Lord might pull up on me in a minute. As soon as I cut this live off, the Lord might pull up on me. So we can't just do things just by the fashion of how we seeing it or how we hearing it. The Lord putting things in place right now as we speak. He got the angels working. Might be an angel that went in my house to reward me, or either bring judgment to me, to reward you, or to bring judgment to you. So you can't just say, well, man, you know what, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. Man, you better be on the edge of your seat. And it might be 1 minute left in the game. 1 minute left in the game, and you loosen up your sneakers, and the coach tell you get in the game. You ain't got yourself ready. It's gonna be a bad day. What if the Lord call you, and say, hey, I need you. You got to be ready. Or what if the Lord say, because the Lord don't need nobody. He don't need me. He don't. The Lord, he's, way above that. Let me correct it. What if the Lord call and say, I want to use you. I want to use you. What if the Lord want to use you and you ain't ready? He take your spirit from you, and now you go back in the world, or you get put to death. Or he kind of allow an angel to kind of, not even appear when the car run off the road, and next thing you know, your car done ran off the road into a ditch, and it just blow up. You gotta have your mind on stuff like this, because if not, you gonna be caught up dealing with something in this wicked world that might rub off on you, and then you kind of just slip back into a slip and slide pool of folly and madness. You know. Now I want to get second edges real quick. I want to get you some second edges. So you have to have your mindset on being ready. You know, even though we know we're gonna fall short, not necessarily how. You know, because all men, all women, everybody falls short. But you gotta have that mindset of I gotta reach toward perfection. I gotta reach toward perfection. You know, Genesis 17:1. Hey, Matthew chapter 5. You know, you gotta be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Now I want to get this second Esdras. This is second Esdras chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 25, and it reads, and therefore Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. So you can't look at things like this ain't really what's gonna happen. You know, you gotta look at it in a spiritual sense. Hey, what you sow, that's what you're gonna reap. If you sow emptiness, you're gonna reap emptiness. If you sow wickedness, you're gonna reap wickedness. That's what it's saying. Second Esdras, let me read it again. Second Esdras chapter 7 and verse 25 in the Apocrypha. And therefore Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Now I want to get this in Galatians, like I quoted, Galatians chapter 6. And I'm going to start at verse 7. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. And it reads, be not deceived, Most High God is not mocked. So you trying to live a life portraying and making it seem like you're holy in righteousness, or you mighty, or you somewhat something that you're not. Hey, you can't mock the Lord, man. I cannot mock the Lord. Neither can anybody else mock the Lord. Because this is what the Lord said. Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. Most High God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So whatever you put out there, that's what's gonna grow. You know, you put righteousness out there, that's what's gonna come forth. You put wickedness out there, that's what's gonna come forth. It ain't no hiding. It ain't no, you being a great actor. You kind of wrote a script out, then you looked at the script, studied it, you kind of say, okay, I got them now. They ain't gonna never catch me. They ain't never gonna find out. It ain't gonna work like that. The Lord got things set up to counter all that. It ain't gonna work like that. So going back to second Esdras chapter 7 and verse 25. Second Esdras chapter 7 and verse 25. And therefore Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass. So what we reading and what we seeing and what we know of as who we are, the Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we know that a lot of this stuff is gonna come to pass. And we waiting. You have to be ready. You have to be waiting. You have to be on the edge of your seat. You have to be tuned in. You have to be attentive. You have to be aware. You have to be watching. You have to be watching yourself. You have to be watching your spirit. Even though you may be suffering, even though you may be, the last hire, the first fire, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out how you're gonna make ends meet, trying to figure out how you're gonna, keep your kids prepared, trying to figure out how you're gonna keep your wife prepared, trying to make sure you're praying for your brothers and your sisters, trying to balance everything out to the best of your ability. You still gotta understand and look at this like, okay, we waiting on the Lord. Second Esdras chapter 7 and verse 26. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth, and whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. Now I want to go down to verse 33. Second Esdras chapter 7 and 33. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. So a lot of things is going to get put to an end. Judgment is going to be issued out. things is gonna be made declared, you know. So you gotta have that mindset on what this is saying. You gotta have the mindset on being in tune, you know. Now I want to go down to verse 43. This whole chapter is beautiful. Second Esdras chapter 7, and I'm gonna go down to verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Now the day of doom, as we know, that's when everything gonna literally kick off, and things is gonna be put forth to being judged. You know, some people want to say the apocalypse. You know, some people like to say the end of mankind. Some people like to say, World War III. You know, Second Esdras 7 and 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. So you have to have this mindset, because when the Lord get ready to do, these major things that we've been waiting on, that we've been saying for so long, it's literally gonna be a beautiful day for those that's patiently waiting. Now the Lord is correcting, and he's trying others. He's trying the Israelites, and he's correcting the Israelites. So you may feel like that you're suffering, and literally you being corrected. The Lord is molding a lot of Israelites, molding his children to prepare for the reward that he got waiting on them. Now I want to get this in Proverbs. This is Proverbs real quick. Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 11. Proverbs 3 and 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. So being corrected is a beautiful thing, because before a grown man became a great father, a great leader, he once had to be corrected as a child, and before a wife, a mother was able to be a great mother or a great wife, she had to be corrected as a child. Before things got put in its position to where it is now, it always started somewhere as a refining period, as a purifying stage. So the Lord is purifying, and he's getting his hopeful elect prepared for things that's literally gonna be given to them. Just like if you was to give a crackhead $1 million, they ain't gonna know what to do with that. They ain't gonna know how to act. So before the Lord can give the kingdom to the hopeful elect, before the Lord can give me the kingdom, before the Lord can give you the kingdom, or whoever watching and listening, you gotta be, you gotta be trained, you gotta be, purified, you gotta be cleansed, you gotta go through the fire, you gotta go through the afflictions, you gotta go through the persecutions, you gotta go through it, you got to. Proverbs 3 and 12. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 12. For whom the Lord loveth, he corrected, even as a father the son in whom he delighted. So whom the Lord loveth, he corrected, Now I want to get this in Acts real quick. So count it all joy, that you may be suffering, because your suffering is going to be a short period of time. But you're going to be reigning pretty soon, Lord willing. Now this is Acts chapter 14 verse 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. So a disciple is another way of saying a servant. A servant. We supposed to be serving one another. The Lord got me serving, and going through this lesson, So we should have the mindset on serving one another, and most importantly, serving the Lord in righteousness to the best of our ability. Acts chapter 14 and verse 22 again. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God Most High. So through much tribulation, the kingdom is set before you. It ain't no through much ease, through much comfort, through much pleasureness of the world, through much wickedness. Is through much affliction, through much tribulation shall the Israelites enter into the kingdom of heaven. It ain't gonna be easy, It's a lot of work that has to be done. It's a lot of more work for us to do. It's a lot of more work for you to do, But hey, just know that through it all, Lord willing, our laboring is not in vain. Now, this is 1 Peter chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 12, and it reads, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So don't think it's strange if you found in some type of strait, in some type of position, or some type of hard times, or anything that may seem like, how in the world did I get here? Or I thought I was doing good. Why am I dealing with this? Don't think it's strange, But what? 1 Peter 4 and 13. But rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings. So the same sufferings that the Lord dealt with, we looking at that the same way. You might not be able to smile a lot of times. You might not be able to laugh a lot of times. You might not be able to hang around everybody. You might not be able to go to certain places, because a lot of things is going to be cut off, and we living in the last days. So we dealing with the same sufferings that the Lord dealt with, being hated of all people, all nations, all men. That's coming. Jacob's trouble. Might be dealing with a female count, might be dealing with a guillotine being in front of you, might get delivered up by one of your loved ones, one of your family members, your wife, or if you're a woman, your husband. Your children might turn on you, your children might lie on you, so you dealing with the same sufferings. Don't think it's strange when these things appear in front of you. But rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. So when that day comes, we got to be glad, So this is why it's important, to have this mindset on suffering now, because later, after, the Lord said, well done, my good and faithful servant, we're going to reign, Lord willing, as we know the hopeful elect will, according to the elect that the Lord has called. Now, reading down, verse 15, 1 Peter 4 and 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody, meaning a meddler, in other men's matters. So, you suffering the same sufferings that the Lord suffered. That's according to righteousness, telling the truth, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, being innocent. But hey, we can't suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, Verse 16, 1 Peter 4:16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Most High God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel? So what shall the end be of those that kind of despise? Just act like this is a story or a fable or a fairy tale. What shall the end be? So you got to look at this like, we got to stay on this straight and narrow path. Now I want to get this in 1 Peter 1. This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 6. 1 Peter 1 and 6. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach. So, you might be going through something for a season. You might be going through something for years. You might be going through something, and it may continue to go on until the Lord comes back. You know, but your faith being tested, and you holding on to that faith when the Lord comes back, you know, you're gonna be rewarded. You will be rewarded. Now, I want to get this in the Apocrypha. You will be rewarded while holding on to your faith and the laws, statutes, and commandments, believing in the Lord. Now, this is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 5, and it reads, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So you going through it right now. That's because you probably are reserved to glorify the Lord. The Lord handpicked you to go through all the things you're going through to glorify him, you know, to uphold his name, to allow your faith to be out there and shine bright. You know, nobody may be able to understand you or understand why you continue to go on and press forward. That's why 1 Corinthians 4 and 10, it says we are fools for Christ's sake, the Messiah's sake. You know, somebody may think I'm a fool right now doing this video at 10 in the morning. You know, somebody may think you a fool for holding on to your faith, or for standing firm, standing 10 toes down, everything that you dealing with, everything that you're going through, everything that you battling, you know. So you acceptable, you know. It was acceptable in the eyes of the Lord for us to go through these things that we're going through, and still hold on while believing, you know. Now in the kingdom, there's a kingdom literally gonna be built up, you know, that the Lord got things planned out, you know. Now I want to get this in Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah chapter 65, and I'm gonna start at verse 21, and it reads, Isaiah 65 and 21, and it reads, and they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. Now, a lot of things that we've built according to our forefathers and our foremothers, the Israelites, a lot of things we built, you know, a lot of things we made, but we didn't get credit for, you know. We ain't get nothing but rape, rob, and murder, you know, and being pillaged, you know. So in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna be building nothing, but we gonna be inhabiting. It's going to be a glorified state, a glorified kingdom of the Lord, that the Israelites and those who endure inhabit. Isaiah 65 and 22. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are, the days of my people and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. So even your children, you know, and this is what we're waiting for, you know. So this is why we're suffering according to righteousness, you know, and carrying on the things that our forefathers and foremothers didn't repent and put behind them and strive towards, you know. Now we born those iniquity, and we carrying it on, and we repenting, and we waiting patiently for the Lord so we can get the kingdom. You know, so you're gonna have somebody else building up the kingdom of heaven, and you're gonna be able to inhabit it. You know, just like we built up America, just like we built up them pyramids, you know, and we got beat and whipped all night, just like when our foremothers and forefathers were picking cotton, and now we got to go to the store and buy a cotton t-shirt and get taxed 7 times over. You know, it ain't gonna be no you working in the kingdom of heaven, you laboring to build up the kingdom of heaven. And your kingdom is gonna be built up and you will inhabit it. You can't look at things now and say, man, I'm going through hell, I can't never get no rest, I can't get no break. No, you can't have that mindset. You gotta say, well, hey, look, I'm gonna go through this now because I got a kingdom coming. You gotta have this mindset. You know, you got to. Now I want to go to Isaiah 62. Isaiah chapter 62, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. Isaiah 62, so like I'm gonna start at verse 1. Isaiah 62 and verse 1, and it reads, for Zion's sake will I not hold my peace. For Jerusalem's sake I will not rest. It's talking about the so-called Black, Spanish, and Native Americans. It's talking about who the world calls as Negroes, the Jews, the real Jews. You know, it's talking about who the world calls monkeys, gorillas, silverbacks. You know, it's talking about the Israelites. Isaiah 62 and 1 again. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. And that new name is going into the image. You know, you literally gonna be in your righteous estate, immortality, no dying, no weeping, no moaning, no crying, no trying to lock your doors so you won't get robbed. You know, you finding mold in your house. Now you got to get somebody to come and clean the mold up. You got to get your walls torn down. You got to get your floors redone. Ain't none of that gonna happen, man. It ain't no your check engine light coming on. It ain't no your car working, but your AC not working. It ain't no it's a cold winter, your heat don't work. Ain't none of that, man. The Lord got a new thing waiting on us, a new name waiting on us. It ain't no you trying to get somebody to clean your credit up because your credit score bad. You can't get approved for this. It ain't no you got a police report to kind of try to do your background check. You know, it ain't no that's his daddy. Ah man, nah, we don't need to go over there with him. It ain't none of that. You know, the Lord gonna make things new. You know, this is the glorified estate that we looking forward to. Isaiah 62 and 3. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. Verse 4, Isaiah 62 and 4. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken. So you're not gonna be forsaken, man. You ain't gonna have to worry about, as a woman, if your man is dealing with 10 and 12, you know, women, and trying to figure out if you're gonna get this disease or if you're gonna get that disease. It's gonna be a righteous estate. Ain't gonna be no diseases. It ain't gonna be no, you a man, you trying to figure out if your woman done committed adultery. It ain't gonna, you have to check your bank account because you trying to see if you in the negatives or not. You not gonna be forsaken. You know, this is the kingdom that the Lord is gonna bring to the Israelites. Isaiah 62 and 4 again. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land anymore be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, going into delighting, the Lord's delight, and thy land Beulah, going into being married to the Lord. For the Lord delighted in thee, and thy land shall be married. You see that? Now, this is also the name of one of the kings In 2 Kings, let me go to this real quick. 2 Kings chapter 21. So this is how the Lord gonna look at us. You know, this is 2 Kings chapter 21, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. 2 Kings 21:1, and it reads, Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hephzibah. And that's going into the Lord's delight. You know, my delight is in her. So the Lord is literally going to be looking at us like my delight is in, like the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, but now, hey, this world is looking at us as, you know, them thugs, them niggas, you know, them harlots, them hoes, them tricks, you know, them all type of names that they like to call us, man. But the Lord is literally gonna be calling us, my delight is in her, you know, and we're married to the Lord. Now I want to get let me get this precept real quick. Isaiah chapter 50 verse 1. Isaiah 50 and verse 1. Isaiah 50:1, and it reads, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have ye sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. So, hey, we've been forsaken, man. You know, just like when you read Isaiah, I believe it's Isaiah 54. Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 7. Isaiah 54:7, and it reads, For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. You know, and them great mercies and the things that the Lord is going to gather us with is with his chariots, you know, with those angelic, you know, heavenly hosts, the angels, the chariots, the Lord's vehicles, you know. So we're going to be brought back to the Lord. We're going to be reconciled back to the Lord. But, hey, we have to have faith. We got to have the commandments. We got to have the laws, the statutes. And we got to forsake our flesh and the cares of this world to the best of our abilities. And the Lord is going to have mercy on whom he's going to have mercy, and compassion on whom he have compassion. When you read Romans, the 9th chapter, you know, verse 15 on down. So, hey, we got to have this mindset on, it's, you know, it's us suffering, but, hey, it's for good, you know. Just like you had other nations, the Moabites, trying to put curses on the Israelites, but the Lord allowed it to be for our good. So, Isaiah, going back to Isaiah real quick, Isaiah 62:5. For as a young man married a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, so shall thy Most High God rejoice over thee. So the Lord is going to rejoice over the elect in those days, you know, when the kingdom is established. Now I want to get Isaiah chapter 60. Isaiah chapter 60, and I'm going to start at verse 13, and it reads, Isaiah 60:13, and it reads, The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious, you know. So a Lebanon was a place where, you know, we once had a temple and things according to the sanctuary on one level, and the feet, as it reads at the end of 13, Isaiah 60:13, as it says, and I will make the place of my feet glorious, because it was one point in time where, you know, the Ark of the Covenant was residing at. So on another level, according to a double fold, the kingdom of heaven, you know, the city of the Lord, you know, the government, you know, Jerusalem, however you want to say it, many names that you can call it, the new heaven, the new earth, you know, it's literally going to be glorious in its glorious estate. Verse 14, the sons also of them, Isaiah 60:14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto them, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So it says, the sons, I'm going to read it one more time, Isaiah 60:14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto them. So those that oppressed us, you know, guess what? They gonna have to have need of everything that we're upholding, the commandments, the laws, the statutes, everything. There's gonna come a time and a period in a day where they're gonna have to have fringes. The men gonna have to have beards on. The heathen women gonna have to have dresses on. You know, they're gonna have to be covered up. It ain't gonna be no them promoting wickedness and folliness on the earth. Cause this wickedness is gonna pass away. And once it's gone, it's not gonna come back. You know, it's not gonna come back. And it ain't gonna be no war and fighting, and it ain't gonna be none of that. You know, verse Isaiah 60:15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. So this is what the Lord is going to bring. This is what we got to look forward to. This is what we got to hope for. The Lord is going to allow things to be excellent and joyful. And our children, you know, it ain't going to be no baby mamas. It ain't going to be no, you ain't seen your child. It ain't going to be no, you ain't give me no money. It ain't going to be no child support. It says many generations, you know. Isaiah 60:16, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thy extractors, and thy exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. So this is the kingdom of heaven. You know, it ain't gonna be no fighting for lands. It ain't gonna be no fighting trying to steal resources and ores and the things that America thrives with right now, according to thievery and robbing and lying and witchcraft and sorcery. Isaiah 60:19. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy most high God thy glory. So the sun is going to be there, the moon is going to be there. It's not going to be how the things of America is. It's not going to be promoting wickedness. It's literally going to be righteousness. You know, the Lord is going to be in rulership. Verse 20, Isaiah 60:20, thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for the Lord Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. It ain't gonna be no what's the word? I forgot the word. I just had it on my mind. Can't think of it now. It ain't gonna be no afflictions. It ain't gonna be no tribulations. It ain't gonna be as for the Israelites, but it will be for the other nations. Now I done had a precept, but Lord willing to come back to me. Let me see if I can get this real quick. I had a precept. Let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 33, and I'm gonna start at the top. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So even to the Syrians and the Babylonians and all of these other ancient nations, you know, they have had a hand and a partake in overthrowing the Israelites. Now, I just thought of another precept. Now, this is Second Maccabees, real quick. Let me see if I can get this real quick. Second Maccabees. Let me see. Or it might be First Maccabees. First Maccabees. First Maccabees. Let me see where I want to start at. I was just reading this. Let me see. This is First Maccabees. Let me read this. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I'm trying to paraphrase it, but I don't want to butcher it. Let me see. It says. So like, let me find this real quick. I might be overlooking it. Let me find this real quick. Man, how in the world I forget? I just read this a couple hours ago. So like, let's see, First Maccabees chapter 2 and let me find this real quick. I'll come back to it. I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. Let me get back to this right quick. This is Isaiah chapter 33. I'm going to go back to Isaiah 33 real quick. Isaiah chapter 33. Isaiah 33 and I want to go down to Isaiah 33 and verse 4. And your spoil, Isaiah 33 and 4, and your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar, and the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. So just like a caterpillar and locusts kind of eat up the grass and herbs and things like that, you know, a lot of stuff that these nations once thrived off of, and their folly and madness, the Lord is going to take that away. And it ain't gonna be no more trying to do child sacrifices and what else they be doing, demonic rituals. And hey, if they do try to do that, hey, they're gonna get put to death in the kingdom. Now, so like, I'm trying to find this precept real quick. Man, I don't know how I forgot that. Lord, when did it come to me? Read it now. Isaiah 33 and 5. The Lord Yahweh is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with the judgment and righteousness. I want to go back to Isaiah 60. Isaiah 60. Isaiah 60 and verse 20. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For the Lord Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. So it says, all thy people Verse 21, thy people also shall be all righteous. Now, it ain't gonna, it ain't no, now a lot of people, they don't agree with, you know, with such things as far as how we understand, how we agree with it. But hey, you gonna have Israelites being born back into the kingdom. I want to get this in Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah chapter 30. Jeremiah chapter 30. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 7. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 7, and it reads, for thus said the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. So the Lord, hey, we know the Lord is going to have things done in righteousness, as far as, you know, like we read earlier, it's going to be many generations. It's going to be so much so that, you know, one man may have, you know, hundreds of children. Verse 9, Jeremiah 31 and 9, they shall come with weeping and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. So we know the Lord is going to bring back the northern kingdom. After all the northern kingdom has done, you know, it ain't no, the Lord done wiped out the northern kingdom. The Lord done cut the northern kingdom off, you know, because they bow down to false gods. Hey, the Lord, you know, he's going to be, you know, he's going to be merciful to the point where, you know, these lands, Naphtali, Gad, you know, Reuben, you know, it ain't gonna be what we only see now. You know, the Lord said, you know, let me get this in Romans 8, Romans chapter 8, and it's another precept that I just thought about, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to be able to go forth. Romans chapter 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 18, and it reads, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So the Lord, hey, got a lot of glory that is literally going to be revealed that we haven't even seen, you know. Now, I want to get one more, Lord willing, I can get one more. Let me get this real quick. I want to get this real quick. Let me get this in the Apocrypha. Let me get this real quick. This is, let me find this. This is Second Esdras. Where I want to start at. Let's see. Let me get this quick precept right quick. This is Second Esdras chapter 5, and I want to start at. Man, hold on, I might hold that. No, I ain't gonna get that. But nevertheless, let me just go ahead and get this. We gotta wind down. This is Second Esdras, and I'm gonna start at. Like it, man. I got a lot of precepts that I'm thinking about. I don't know which one I want to start. So like, I just get this right quick. Let me get this in Isaiah. So like, this is the book of Isaiah. Let me get this. This is Isaiah chapter Isaiah chapter. Nah, that ain't what I want, Salaki. But nevertheless, through the Spirit, let's see, I thought this was Salaki. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 4. I was thinking about the wrong precept. 2nd Esdras chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 39. 2nd Esdras chapter 4, verse 39. I'm gonna go down. Second Esdras chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations, and why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect, and we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. So just like Ezra was asking, you know, like I had mentioned about Northern Kingdom, you know, some, you know, according to things that was done as far as idolatry. Read it down, verse 25. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hasted fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. And for this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So destruction has yet come, but the Lord is going to restore and make things that we really don't have the mind to be able to grasp. Because according to the folly and madness that our forefathers and foremothers had done, you know, we can't even really see and understand all that the Lord is going to do. But through the Spirit, I'm gonna kind of wind down, and I'm gonna get this last precept, maybe two more. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 2nd Esdras chapter 7. It's like in 2nd Esdras 6 and verse 50. I'm gonna start at verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, the only begotten, and the fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, so the world was made for the Israelites' sakes. If the world be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? So, hey, it's going to endure until the Lord get ready to wreak havoc with this place. Now, I had a couple precepts, but Salaki, that kind of escaped me. But through the Spirit, Lord willing, this was edifying to you. Let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 26. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Isaiah 26 and verse 3. And it reads, thou would keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. So you got to continue to have your mind stayed on the Lord. Continue to endure. Continue to uphold the covenant that our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, upheld, and things that was done in the oath between the Most High God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we got to continue to endure. Isaiah 26:4. Trust ye in the Lord Yahweh forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting salvation. So like it is Isaiah 26:4. Trust ye in the Lord Yahweh forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high. So a lot of these kings and the illuminated ones, they're going to be brought down low, you know. So reading it one more time, Isaiah 26:5. For he bringeth down them that dwelleth on high, the lofty city. He laid it low. He laid it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor. So even the ones that's poor, you know, they gonna get the riches. You know, they gonna receive the benefits that the Lord is going to issue out. You know, they're going to receive of those crowns. They're going to receive of immortality. They're going to receive of all of the goodness that the Lord is going to set up. You know, even the poor, even the ones that may be homeless, even the ones that's living paycheck to paycheck, even the ones that can't even afford to go to the doctor and deal with a doctor visit or get a tooth pulled right now. You know, the Lord said, even the poor. Let me read this one more time. Isaiah 26:5. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He laid it low. He laid it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. So, hey, the Lord is going to have the ones that's at the bottom right now, that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments, that has faith, that's enduring. He's going to give them he's going to have them to reap according to the righteousness and of the goods and the needy. And the way of, verse 7, the way of the just is uprightness. Thou most upright doest wait the path of the just. So, hey, we got to continue to endure. Now, I want to read this one. Yea, Isaiah 26:8. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, Yahweh, have we waited for thee. The desire of our soul is to thy name and to the remembrance of thee. So we are waiting on the Lord, and we waiting for the kingdom, you know. So, hey, we suffering, hey, we dealing with lot. You know, but we got to continue to endure. We got to continue to uphold righteousness and to continue to stay on the straight and narrow path and endure until the second coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the righteous. So, Lord, really, this is edifying to you. Don't count this as a light thing to do. Peace and blessing to you. Lord, really, your Sabbath preparations is well and prosperous in His sight, and you continue to hold on and continue to do all things in the sight of the Lord according to righteousness. Peace and blessing to you. Call Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Call Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahushua. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Shalom.